In the 80s of the 20th century, in former Yugoslavia, people were jokingly saying about Romania, what kind of country is that, to which Yugoslavia is the West. At that time, under the rule of a much crueler and less likable dictator than Yugoslavs had, Nicolae Ceausescu, Romanians lived with very little freedom and very little money, and under the watchful eye of the secret police called the Securitate. At its peak, it had 11,000 agents and 500,000 informants for a population of 23 million. Okay, in communist bloc, it was nowhere allowed to talk against, let alone work against the regime, but some things were a bit stricter in Romania. For example, Romanians were not allowed to own foreign money. Western films were watched only in private apartments, where there were improvised illegal cinemas, and almost all pirated versions of the films were dubbed by one and the same woman, whose voice was like a kind of subtitle. The TV program lasted only 4 hours a day, of which 2 hours were devoted to alleged successes in the economy and how Nicolae Ceausescu shot a bear while hunting. The social and economic weakness of those years was also caused by dictators' determination to repay the entire foreign debt of the country of $10 billion, as well as the megalomaniacal construction projects of the Romanian parliament in Bucharest. Legend says that Ceausescu made another mistake when in the late 80s he allowed the American soap opera Dallas to air, with the idea that the series was anti-capitalist enough and that it would be useful for Romanians to see the decadent lifestyle of the American oil rich. However, when the people saw those houses, cars and other wealth on TV, and when the revolution started in the Eastern Bloc in 1989, the Romanian Revolution was the only one that was carried out violently and where the country's leader was executed, without trial. From those days to the present, Romania has undergone a great social and economic changes. It experienced significant economic progress and became a member of NATO in 2004 and a member of the European Union in 2007. The total gross national product of Romania for 2023, according to World Bank, is estimated to be $351 billion, which places Romania in the 41st place in the world. GDP per capita at the same source is around $15,800, which makes Romania the 56th richest country in the world according to that perimeter. The fact that they are the largest producer of natural gas as well as the 4th largest producer of oil in the European Union helps the Romanian economy a lot. One of the engines of the economy is the car manufacturer Dacia, which is the largest company in the country. Dacia's export amounts to about 8% of the country's total exports. The company is owned by Renault, and the company's only factory is located in the small town of Mioveni. 19 million people live in Romania, 4 million less than in 1992. 89% are Romanians, 6% are Hungarians, 3.5% are Gypsies. The capital is Bucharest, and 2.3 million people live in it. The Romanian language belongs to the category of Roman languages alongside Portuguese, Spanish, Italian and French, which seems somewhat surprising. Slavic influence can be seen in the Romanian word for yes. It is the same word used by Russians, Serbs, Bulgarians, Croats, Bosnians and Montenegrins, and that is da. When Romanians want to say thank you, they use the same word as French, merci. Romanian money is leu, which means lion. Although Romanians are famous for Count Dracula, what is less known is that the word vampire is not of the Romanian, but Serbian origin. And it is the only Serbian word that is now used all over the world. It was first recorded in written documents from 1725, where it is explained how a certain Petar Blagojević rose from the dead. Somewhere around the same time, the word appeared in the reports of Austrian officers from Serbia, where they describe the custom of the local population to dig up the dead and kill them one more time, just in case. And there is also a terrible fairy tale about Sava Savanovic, the first vampire who waited for people at the mill in the village of Zarozje and drank their blood. So for the Serbs, legends, garlic and myths, and for the Romanians, very generous income from tourism based on fanciful stories about Dracula, the Prince of Darkness from Transylvania. Who or what is this Dracula that came from Romania to all parts of the world? The Irish writer Bram Stoker published the novel Dracula in 1897. The story goes like this. Lawyer Jonathan Harker stays in the castle of the Transylvanian nobleman, Count Dracula, on a business trip. Harker escapes from the castle after discovering that Dracula is a vampire, but the Earl follows him and moves to England and attacks the seaside town of Whitby. A small group, led by Abraham Van Helsing, hunts down Dracula and eventually kills him. Although there is no evidence for that, the inspiration for the character of Count Dracula has been declared to Vlad, Duke of Wallachia, who is nicknamed Cepeš, translated as the Impaler. Vlad Cepeš, or Vlad Dracula, as he was later called, is considered a national hero in Romania. In the 15th century, he successfully fought against the Turks, and stories circulated about his unusual cruelty. Impaling was supposed to intimidate the Turkish invaders who were attacking Wallachia. Another thread that waves the story of Dracula, the Prince of Darkness from the Carpathian forests, is the fact that his father was Vlad the Dracul, or Vlad the Dragon, who became the ruler of Wallachia in 1436. Dracul, translated from modern Romanian, means devil, which makes his son Vlad Dracula the son of the devil. Anyway, Bran Castle on the slopes of the Carpathian Mountains has been declared the castle of Count Dracula, and tourists from all over the world come to feel that unique atmosphere of mysticism and horror. Tours are especially popular with American tourists during Halloween. And in Romania, you can also buy various souvenirs, such as vampire wine. Today's Romania was conquered by the Romanian Emperor Trajan and declared as the Romanian province of Dacia. That territory was the site of a massive Roman colonization, and that is where the country's Roman origins come from. Romania consists of three parts: Wallachia, Moldavia and Transylvania. Moldova, a neighboring country, is considered a brotherly country and brotherly people. In the period from 16th century to the 18th century, Wallachia and Moldavia were in a vassal relationship to the Ottoman Empire, and in 1699 Transylvania became part of Austro-Hungary. So Romania experienced a somewhat similar fate like the other Balkan states, sandwiched between the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires, and with the active participation of the Third Empire, Russia. In 1848, modern Romania was created by the unification of Wallachia and Moldavia. During the first 2 years of the First World War, Romania was neutral until 1916. It entered the war on the side of the Entente powers with the aim of occupying Transylvania, where 5 million people lived, of which 2.8 million were Romanians. At the end of the First World War, the goal was achieved, and due to the collapse of the Russian Empire, Romania received the territories of Bessarabia and Bukovina. In the period from 1920 to 1938, Romania, together with Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia, was a member of a military alliance called the Little Entente, which was formed out of the fear that Austria and Hungary would try to restore the Austro-Hungarian monarchy with a military attack. Before the Second World War, Romania was forced to return a good part of the conquered territories to Hungary and Bulgaria and entered the war on the side of the Axis powers. In 1941, together with Germany, Romania attacked the Soviet Union. In 1944, when the situation at the front changed and with Russian troops approaching, a military coup occurred and the country turned its back on Nazi Germany and switched to the side of the Allies. The Soviet Red Army occupies the country and installs a communist regime, which has already been discussed. The landscape of Romania is dominated by the Carpathian mountain range, the third longest in Europe, with a length of 1,500 kilometers that separates the country into two parts. On this mountain range, we also find the highest point in the country, the Moldovani Peak, with an altitude of 2,544 meters above sea level. Apusini, which means Western Mountains, put finishing touches on this mountain range that can remind someone of the legendary video game called Pac-Man. Romania, more precisely the Carpathians, is home to the largest population of brown bears in the world if Russia is excluded. That is, about half of all bears in Europe live in Romania. Also, it is one of the few places in Europe where you can find the largest European mammal, the bison. The Danube, the second largest European river, has about 40% of its flow through or immediately adjacent to Romania, a whole 1,045 kilometers. About 74% of Romanian exports move up the Danube to other countries of the European Union. And at the place where the Danube flows into Black Sea, there is a beautiful area of the Danube Delta, the second largest delta in Europe after the Volga, and is considered the best preserved biosphere reserve. It is the largest continuous wetland in Europe with over 1,600 plant species and under UNESCO protection. The Bucharest Parliament, the construction of which began in 1984, is the second largest administrative building in the world, right after the Pentagon in the USA. It is considered the heaviest building in the world with a weight of 4,100,000 tons. It has 365,000 square meters and is located in the Guinness Book of Records. In 2006, it was calculated that Romania spent an impressive $3 billion on the construction of this building. In front of the building, there is a boulevard that used to be called the Boulevard of the Victory of Socialism, which is why it had to be 6 meters wider than the capitalist boulevard, the Champs-Élysées in Paris. In 2011, Romania introduced a black magic tax, as fortune tellers and witches are considered to be doing work similar to modern life coaches, only for supernatural forces. The state has recognized them as legitimate business people and they now have to pay taxes. In addition, witches always have to carry a work permit with them. In Romania, there is also the largest European statue carved in rock, 55 meters high and created between 1994 and 2004. The rock statue is located on the bank of the Danube River near Orsava. It can only be approached from the river and it depicts Decibels, the last king of Dacia. Bucharest, the capital of Romania, is often mistaken for Budapest, the capital of Hungary. In 1992, Michael Jackson held a concert at the National Stadium in Bucharest, in front of 90,000 people. Legend has it that he addressed the fans with the words, "Hello Budapest." The same mistake was later made by Lenny Kravitz, Metallica, Iron Maiden, etc. But probably the most tragic mistake was made by as many as 400 fans of the Athletic Bilbao football club, who traveled to Budapest to support their team during the final of the European Football Cup 2012, which was held in Bucharest. The tallest wooden church in the world is located in the village of Maramureș. The church is under the protection of UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage and it is 78 meters high. Although of Roman origin, Romania is a predominantly Orthodox country with 74% of the population, and there is no official state religion. In 1986, Steaua from Bucharest defeated Barcelona in the European Cup final and became the first football team from Eastern Europe to win the European Champions Cup. Timisoara was the first city in Europe to have electric street lighting. That happened in 1884, and today Romania has the third fastest internet network on the continent, as well as one of the most developed railway networks. It is interesting that in Romania they see Serbia as the only neighbor they are okay with, since there has never been any significant conflict. There's even a saying that goes, Romania only has two good neighbors, the Black Sea and Serbia. Near the border with Ukraine there is the Happy Cemetery, built in 1940. The crosses are made of wood, painted in different colors and painted with themes from the lives of deceased. The cemetery serves today as an open-air museum and tourist attraction and is considered the happiest cemetery in the world. The tradition of fake abduction of the bride from under the noses of the groom and guests, with the wedding party in full swing, has become increasingly popular in the Romanian capital in recent years. Brides are dragged away by friends and taken to one of the tourist spots in the city where they are held hostage, and there they prove to dance and pose for the cameras. So don't panic if you happen to be in Bucharest and you see the kidnapping of the bride. Romania is the fifth country in the world with the highest consumption of alcohol, behind four other Eastern European countries: Belarus, Russia, Moldova and Lithuania. The average Romanian consumes 14.4 liters of pure alcohol every year. So cheers, or norok, as the Romanians would say. I hope you find this video interesting and of some value for you. Please excuse my Tarzan English and please like, share and subscribe.